This is the new Mercedes-AMG GT, and it's a little bit like a German Stein compared to the old AMG GT, which was more of a pint glass. You see, this has got bigger, more spacious, greater capacity, and it's also quite a bit heavier. Now in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this car. I'm going to talk you around the exterior. Oh, the shape of it just works, doesn't it? Show you the interior. Are you just trying to torture me? I'm going to see how practical it is. Go on, get in. I'm going to tell you what's good about it.
There's not enough room for a big baby.
What's annoying about it. Oh dear, not ideal. I'm going to take it for a drive in various conditions. Oh, that's just, oh. And of course, I'm going to launch it to see how quick it is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow. The AMG GT Coupe is powered by a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 that's been hand-built, on this occasion by this person here. Now, it's mated to a 9-speed automatic gearbox with clutches rather than a torque converter, so it should be snappier, and it drives all 4 wheels, which is important. The old AMG GT was rear-wheel drive only. Now this car is actually set up to be mainly rear-wheel drive, but it can send 50% of the power to the front axle when you need added grip. In terms of power output, there's a 55 model, which puts out 476 horsepower and 700 newton meters of torque. Then there's this 63, which is actually the starting point in the UK. That has 585 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque. And then at the top of the range is the 63 SE Performance, which is a plug-in hybrid, and combined power output for that is 816 horsepower and 1,420 newton meters of crazy tire shredding torque. Madness. Sorry about that. Anyhow, let's see how this normal 63 version performs when you launch it from 0 to 60 miles an hour. Mercedes-AMG says this car do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.2 seconds. I'm going to measure it to 60 miles an hour, so I'm hoping for about 3.1. By comparison, a Porsche 911 Turbo S does 0 to 62 miles an hour in 2.7 seconds. And the plug-in hybrid version of this is supposed to do it in 2.8. But anyway, let's see what this actually does to 60 in the real world. Left foot brake, race start. So that's 3.28. The surface here isn't great. Let's do it again. That hooked better. Bang on the numbers. 3.13 on this crappy road. It feels so quick. Not quite as quick as a Turbo S, but I mean, let's talk about the design of this car. So I think this new AMG GT looks blooming lovely. Oh, the shape of it just works, doesn't it? Quite interesting rear light design. And in the UK, we get like the smoky effect badging, the night package as standard. You might be wondering why I'm waving this stick about. Well, it's because I need to reveal some lies with the truth stick. Look, diffuser lies here. Fakery. Also exhaust lies. To be fair, there are real exhaust in there, but they're much smaller. Lies, Mercedes, lies. More lies. This car does have quite nice wide rear haunches, oh, like that, and 21-inch alloy wheels. I quite like the alloy wheel design. I'm a bit concerned about this part though. It gives you 2 chances of curbing your wheel, so you can curb it there and there as well. Do you know what? The only bit that is shared with the SL, even though they share the same kind of underpinnings and mechanicals, the only like visual bit that's shared, the doors. The rest of it obviously it's all different and new. No, look, more fakery, Mercedes, more fakery. What you like the headlight design, and I like the fact that here vents are real. Look, real vents. And it's got a very aggressive looking face and that beautiful long bonnet. But I think this car is all about the side profile. Lovely. It's expensive though. Starting price, £165,000. Wow. Similar money to a Ferrari Roma. And that's also beautiful. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or follow the QR code which should be appearing on the screen now. Just use your mobile phone, take a photo of it and follow it, watch that review.
Want to sell your car quickly, easily, and for a fair price?
Then head to CarWow to have over 4,000 trusted dealers ready to bid on it in an online auction.
First, enter your car's registration to get an instant approximate valuation. Then, if you want to proceed, give us some more details and upload some photos, and we'll help you set a fair reserve price for your car. That's the minimum amount you'd be happy to sell it for.
Once you've done that, we'll enter your car into an online auction.
When the auction's over, we'll let you know the result, and the dealer with the winning bid will be in touch to arrange easy payment and free collection of your car. 93% of sellers surveyed said they got the price they expected or more through CarWow. The best bit is, It's completely free! I put a link in the description of this video and the pinned comment to take you directly to CarWow, where over 4,000 dealers are ready to bid on your car. Or you can just click on the pop-out banner that should be appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen now. Alternatively, just Google "Help Me CarWow" and we will help you sell your car quickly, easily, and for a fair price. On with the video. I really like the interior design of the AMG GT Coupe, the shape of the dash, the stitching, the turbine style air vents which go red when you go to high temperature. Materials here on the door feel lovely. Down here you get carbon fibre, or you can have wood, all as standard. And I like the Alcantara on the steering wheel. The steering wheel design is pretty nice as well, plus you've got metal paddles which feel expensive. Also you can quickly change your driving modes by just toggling these switches here, and you can mix and match here as well by pressing these buttons. Speaking of which, there is an individual mode, so you can set up the car exactly as you want it, then quickly turn this dial to go to individual, and then you're driving in the way that you prefer the best. There are a few things I don't like, such as this, look. I don't like the location of the stop-start button. It's just awkward to get to. I'm not convinced by the design of the dials, like this pod here. This design of the digital driver display is okay, but I'm not convinced by that. I don't really like the feel of the gear selector. I like where it is, but that just feels cheap and nasty, as does this steering column. I tell you what's really cheap and nasty, this sun visor. What? You don't even get a light for the vanity mirror? And I'm not convinced on a car this price you should have to do the sunroof by hand. Although I suppose not having it electric does save a bit of weight, and this car's quite heavy. More on that later. The worst offending piece of trim in this car though is this horrible button to open the underarm armrest. At least it's like designed split so that you can have one side open and then still have it arm resting like that if you want to. Space in there is, it's okay I guess. You've got two USB-Cs in there. Underneath here, your cup holders, which I'm storing the key in. The key does feel quite nice, substantial and expensive. There's wireless charging for your mobile phone in there, and there's a USB-C there. Now let's check out the glove box, because it's a little bit of a weird shape. Line with felt, so it feels expensive, but I'm not convinced you can fit that much in there. The door's huge. Look at the size of this door, it's massive. But the door bins are quite small. So you have to fit your bottle in like that. But I guess, you know, it's a sports car, isn't it? Does it really matter? And it feels like a sports car, the way you sat nice and low in it. Though if you really want to, I forgot Mercedes controls for these seats are there like that. You can jack your seat up quite high, and headroom, thanks to that sunroof, is actually all right. Look, see, if you want to sit up high in a sports car, completely defeats the object. And you've got electric operation of the steering wheel. The seats themselves are really nice and comfortable. These are the entry-level seats, right? You can get some sportier seats than this, but they are very nice. So let me just go into this. I've somehow turned the climate control on high. Well done, Watson. Look, you've got massage. You can also alter the lumbar support, how it grips you at the sides and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, as standard, this car is pretty well equipped. Look, you've got Burmester sound system, even on the entry-level version. The infotainment system is really easy to use, bright, clear. Kind of wish you had physical buttons for the climate control, but look, the buttons, which are touchscreen, are quite easily accessible. And there's loads of different functions, and you've got stuff like ambient lighting as well, all as standard. Look, all these different colours, look, 61. And something called Energising Comfort, which has settings called Refresh, Warmth, Vitality, Joy and Wellbeing, Forest Glade. What's all this nonsense? Anyway, that's just crap. You're not going to bother with that. Yeah, easy to use, but you're going to pretty much be using Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, aren't you? I don't think it feels quite as expensive on the inside as an Aston Martin Vantage, though I do prefer the tech on it. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of the Aston Martin Vantage, click on the pop-out banner up there, or follow the QR code which should be appearing on the screen right now. Just use your phone, scan it, and you can check it out. One thing the Aston Martin Vantage doesn't have though is this. Rear seats. So I'm just going to jump into the back. I'm going to move this other seat out of the way so you can see how much room I do or do not have back here. Is it going to be more roomy than a Porsche 911? James, can you do us a favour and sit in this seat to get yourself comfortable? Come on, get yourself comfortable. Don't worry about me. Pretend I'm not here. That's how you want to drive, right? Yeah. I don't like it when you drive like that. Oh, is that really? Are you just trying to torture me? No. To get your revenge?
My legs are extended.
Really, you're happy?
Yeah.
I'm not happy. This is not very good at all. I'm not sure this is better than a Porsche 911, to tell you the truth. Maybe it's worse. I mean, I'd have to back it, but neither are good. Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere really in the back of this. You have got ISOFIX, so you could fit some little booster seats and carry some kids back here, because really, that's all it's good for, if that. Can you let me out now, please, James? Please?
I will get my revenge on you. I'm going to get my revenge on him. This car has a really useful and decent sized boot for a sports car. So it's 321 litres, only slightly smaller than a Volkswagen Polo's. Look, usable square shape as well. And I'm going to show you this. Some underfloor storage, which, will it do it? Will it do it? Will it? Will it? Will it? Will it? Yes! You can store the low cover under there. That is absolutely blooming brilliant, isn't it? Some of the features, a little hooky there. We've got a 12-volt socket, got nettage, tie-down point, more nettage. That's where the manual's kept. That's clever. Means that you can actually use the glove box for gloves. And then I want to show you this switch. Watch it. Hey, fold down the rear seats. Look at all that. Way more practical than a Porsche 911 with its front boot and awkward to get up rear seats. What's not so good about it though? I suppose, look, bit of a big load lip to lift things in and out over. You could hurt your back doing that. Probably won't, but anyway, it gives me a segue to this section. 5 annoying things about this car. I really don't like Mercedes popping out your door handles. There's just something, I don't know, the feel of them. It's not nice, and this is like your first interaction as you're getting into the car. Another problem with it is, let's say you want to do a photo next to it for Instagram, and then you lean on it like that. Oh, it's kind of like, starts pinching you on the bottom. Look, it's doing it again, get off. Ow, it actually pinched my bum that time. In the past, the sporty and race dials on Mercedes-AMG cars used to look quite cool. Here they are on my old G63, and here's the ones on my old A45. Nice. However, you feel that Mercedes interior designers have changed things just for the sake of changing things. Because look what the sporty dials are like now. Sport. What is this all about? And when you rev it, rather than a rev counter, you have this swelling of the line. And then what about this? Super Sport, here we go. Great. I mean, what's that all about? I mean, it's not a computer game. And the final one, track pace. Oh, it's just the same as the other one. Why can't I just have like a centrally mounted rev counter with the speed in it? That's what I want. This car is really rather heavy. The basic weight of the entry car with hardly any options is just under 2 tons. However, in the UK, because we get quite well equipped cars, this particular entry-level version weighs in at 2,130 kilos, and it's supposed to be a sports car. Considering how heavy this car is, you'd think that it would get carbon ceramic brakes as standard so that you don't end up with a load of brake fade should you dare to take your car on track. But you don't. This entry-level premium, you can't even get them as an option. If you want carbon ceramics, you have to step up to the ultimate trim. Because this car is quite long and very low, plus you've got active aero, it is easy to bottom it out over bumps. So come and have a look at this, right? You see, underneath there, that is touching the ground. Have a look at it from the side. Look, have a look. See? Oh dear, not ideal. However, Mercedes is aware of this, and that brings me on to 5 cool things about this car, because they give you an axle lift as standard, so you can raise the front. So let's raise it up. Nose lift is an optional extra on a Porsche 911. Come and have a look, that's better. Look, it's better. The system works in conjunction with the satellite navigation and will remember where you raised the nose last time so that you don't have to press the button again.
This car has 2 Isofix anchor points on the rear seat and more Isofix anchor points here on the front passenger seat, so you can have your baby next to you in the front, though there's not enough room for the big baby.
Quite unusual for a sports car. You have hands-free tailgate opening. So let's say you're trying to kidnap somebody, you're wrestling them. Come on. Go on, get in. That's it. It's good. Due to rules and regulations, all new cars have to be fitted with a speed limit warning. So if you go over the speed limit, it goes beep, beep, beep. Also, they have to default to on every time you restart the car, even if previously you turned them off. Knowing that, Mercedes has helped you out though, because look, there's the icon there for the speed, and then you just dab it like that. Easy to turn it off. No digging in menus, it's right there for you. When you're driving, the rear wing will automatically alter its height to give you some downforce. Alternatively, you can just operate it yourself manually and have it in the fully up position to show off. However, Extra downforce at the rear is no good unless you've balanced it with extra downforce at the front. And there is also a front splitter which lowers down. Once again, you can activate it yourself at the press of a button. Nice.
One of the things about a car like the Mercedes GT is that for all the good looks and the sporty drive and the performance, you still want it to be easy to live with. You want to be able to cruise around in town. You want it to be comfortable and relaxing when it needs to be, but still at lower speeds, like when you're doing 20 miles an hour, you still want to have some form of engagement from it. Now, when you're just pootling along, going over bumps in town, the suspension is actually really good, and it does this thing that I really like with good quality suspension in sports cars. So the body feels nice and stiff and sporty and ready and kind of like alive, but the damping isn't too jarring, so it just takes the edge off the bumpies? The edge off the bumps. So you are experiencing the car and you're feeling how like sporty and racy it is without it actually being off-putting. Do you know what, while I'm sat here, I'm going to just rev the engine a bit. Oh, do you hear that? Probably shouldn't do that in the middle of a village. One of the things that I do like about this newer version of the AMG GT is that the visibility is so much better than the old car. The dash isn't too high like it was in the old car, so the view forward, even though I've got this massive long bonnet, doesn't feel intimidating. I don't really think the forward visibility in the Porsche 911 is that much better because of how big the 911 is now and how low you sit in it. The view out the back window on this is really good as well. You've got huge door mirrors, so it's absolutely fine. This car is on steel brakes and they're pretty smooth and progressive, not grabby at all. There's something I'm not going to like now though, and it's the manoeuvrability. Even though this car has all-wheel steering, the turning circle is like 12.5 meters, so I'm going to try a UE here. Let's get the cameras up, come on. This is going to be an absolute SHIT show. Yeah, look, absolute no oper. I'm going to have to do a three-pointer. Now that beeping is because we've got a camera right near a sensor, so excuse me. I mean, I got that manoeuvre wrong from the get-go just because the car's front end didn't turn as much as I thought it would do. That does make it a little bit unwieldy, and it's going to be harder to park than say an Aston Martin Vantage, which has a turning circle of 11.2 meters. But other than that, the steering, I wouldn't say it's light, but it's not overly heavy in town. Now, just cruising along then, I did just notice on a change of gear, it was a bit, and earlier when I was driving it, I had this sensation like the drivetrain had just snapped in two because it like decoupled one of the clutches and it was like, whoa. So it's definitely not as smooth as a normal torque converter auto. I want to see what the response is like when you are accelerating from 40 miles an hour up to 70 as I reach this bit of dual carriageway up here. So I'm going to floor it. 3, 2, 1, go. Bit of a pause, isn't it? Right, that's the limit. Bit of a delay in comfort mode. If I go into like race mode, it's going to be holding a low gear for longer. Yeah, holding a low gear. Now I'm going to floor it. It's just on it straight away with no kick down. Anyway, let's go into my favourite mode, individual, where I've got it just as I like it. It doesn't have that kind of really like Apollo takeoff experience of a Porsche 911 Turbo S, but still easily quick enough. There is a slight problem I've noticed with the gearbox. So the changes, they're quick. However, there's a slight delay between when you pull the paddle and the change actually happening. You have to time it just right, otherwise, see there. So you can be pulling up on the paddle and then you get a few more extra revs and you hit the limiter and you get it kind of cutting the engine ever so slightly and then it changes up. And I just think on the Porsche 911 with its PDK, with its dual clutches, it's just that little bit more on it. When you're cruising along at speed, it's reasonably relaxing for a big, powerful car. Yeah, you do get some road noise from those huge tyres, but it's not as bad as in the Porsche 911. Wind noise, hardly any. It's fine. What's not so fine though is the economy. So yeah, I'm getting less than 12 miles to the gallon. Mercedes claim 20, and maybe if you're just cruising on the motorway, but whoa, it's thirsty. I'm going to whack it into the firmest setting on the suspension here, see what it's like, because this road's a little bit gnarly. Whoa. Now this four-wheel drive system is normally sending power to the rear wheels, but can send 50% of the power to the front when you're trying to like accelerate out of a bend and it needs to, you know, maximise traction. And I tell you what, it doesn't half do a good job. Right, the suspension's struggling a bit there in the firmest setting. So back into individual. That was one of the problems with the old AMG GT Coupe. You know, rear wheel drive, it would lose traction so easily. On a damp day, it was almost unusable. You couldn't put your foot down. This, I have driven on a slightly damp road and it just hooked up. Another thing that's impressive is the anti-pitch and roll. So it keeps it flat in the bends and stops it diving as well and pitching when you're accelerating and braking. Look, I'm just going to brake now. Look at that, it stays pretty blooming flat, that does. While the new Aston Martin Vantage may have more power and be lighter, I think you're going to be quicker point to point on an unfamiliar road in this, just because of the four-wheel drive system allows you to drive it quicker. The front end feels good and the steering does give you enough feedback. I don't know what it's like on track, I'm sure it's quite good, but then its weight will go against it. But on the road, you're at the speed limit quick enough. If there is one thing, when you're going a bit faster and really banging the brakes, they don't quite have the feel. I think the pedal's a bit long. It's kind of classic Mercedes pedal, a bit more comfort orientated than you'd have out of Porsche 911 Turbo S. Do you know what? I think I prefer driving this than the Aston on the road. It's going to be more usable for more people. Oh, that's just, oh. 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 Oh, anyway, do you know what? I bet AMG's engineers loved working on this after having to deal with the rather soulless, yet technically crazy C63 and its 4-cylinder.
So then what's my final verdict on the new AMG GT63 Coupe? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I really like this car. I think it's an improvement over the old AMG GT. Maybe it's not quite so wild, but it's just so much more usable. It's a really tough decision as to whether I'd have this, an Aston Martin Vantage, or a Porsche 911 Turbo S. But what a great decision if you're presented with the opportunity. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you want to watch some other videos, click on the video windows. And if you want to sell your car the easy way, just click on the CarWow logo. Thanks for watching.